with a deeper appreciation and gratitude for these ladies. Every single person in those pictures, and every single one of the puzzle pieces, and every single one of us tonight have the honor of having Susie and Nancy in our lives. And I can confidently say that they have each touched our lives in one way or another and have changed us all for the better. Their love for Jesus, love for others, and constant encouragement is something very special to each person that they come in contact with. I've had the privilege over the last year and a half to have these two ladies mentor me and ultimately prepare me to take over this ministry that they have worked so incredibly hard to build. This is a great honor that I do not take lightly. It is difficult for me to put into words what it means to me that they would choose me to carry on their mission. I've often times referred to myself as Nancy and Susie's love child. Over the last year, I've been completing a leadership course with a local foundation to help nonprofit leaders grow as individuals and within their organizations. And I found it very interesting in my cohort that they list the qualities of what makes a good leader, and how to be a transformative leader, and how to make an impact on Springfield within your organizations. And in all the hours I've spent observing Susie and Nancy and being with them, I've never once heard them boast or even try to explain what makes them the great leaders that they are. And I realize that's because they lead with their actions. Both of them care so deeply for carrying out the Great Commission and loving God with their whole hearts that it's ingrained in everything that they do. How they speak to people, how they interact with others, their relationship with each other, and their love for this mission is something that cannot be defined. It's a true testament to their life's work. And no book, motivational speaker, or guru can teach that kind of leadership that Susie and Nancy naturally lead with every day of their lives. Now I know that they probably don't like me doing this and saying all these wonderful things about them because they don't do this for acclamations, but their legacy will continue on within these walls and beyond. And if I haven't said it enough, I'm filled with gratitude and thankfulness for having both of them in my life. As we look forward to the future and the plans that God has for this organization, I want to introduce myself a little bit to all of you so you can get to know me a little bit better and my family. Like I said before, my name is Jessi, and I'm married to my high school sweetheart, John, over there. And we've been blessed with 4 kiddos who are back there and probably going to hide under the table. But Addie is our oldest. We have Elsie, who might be falling asleep at the end of the table. And there's Pacey, there he is. And then Colton is our baby back there. When Addie and Colton were actual babies, John and I spent time in prayer for our little family and asking him to guide us and direct our paths. We also specifically prayed for our family to be used to glorify Him in all that we do. And little did we know that in just a few short years, He would call us to full-time inner-city mission work. And not just that, but He called us to leave our nice, comfortable, safe home in the country to move right here on the CRC campus and to live amongst the people that we were already serving. At the time, we had 4 little ones. Elsie had just been home a year, and she was adjusting to her new life and family in the U.S. However, we felt this calling for our family, and it was one that we had to follow. To say that life in the inner city was an adjustment for some of us is an understatement. And I'm talking about me. When we moved, I told John this was his baby, this was his ministry, because he was the pastor and I was going to care for our kids. And that was all I was doing. As time went on, God refined and changed my heart. And I initially had a heart of fear and uncomfortableness with my entire surroundings. And for many years, it was difficult for me to accept this calling. But as time went on, and I was able to serve our community members through our meal ministry, the children at the Ark, and random people that would come knocking on our doors, my heart was completely shattered for our neighbors, and an immense amount of love and compassion began to grow for our little neighborhood. This has been a 7-year transformation of my heart, and my life and my mindset has forever been changed. When you hear things like, "Oh, you got to sleep on a mattress last night? You're so lucky," from a 12-year-old little boy who lives just 5 houses down from you. Or when you hear another boy explain to you that he slept in front of the big broken window in their house with a knife in his hand to protect his siblings from the homeless people that try to break in at night. Or you have a child tell you that their dad would go into gas stations with you and talk to and distract the attendants while you shoved beer cans down your pants for him. Your mind, heart, and soul are forever altered. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper and tell you just how intertwined my life is within this neighborhood and the streets that surround us. I didn't even know it until after we moved here, but my grandmother was born on Mulberry Street right behind us. A grandmother that I never knew. I never got to meet her, but I'm told that I have a lot of her mannerisms, and I also probably have some cousins and aunts and uncles that live near us. When I was in high school, I knew I wanted to be a teacher because of my dad. My dad was a troublemaker, and from what I gather, would not have been one of those students that you would want sitting in your classroom. I've always felt that his teachers did not give him a chance, and ultimately did a disservice to him in his education. So I became a special education teacher, and I actually work today in the district that he attended. I wanted to help children just like he was when he was younger. We all know these kind of kids, the ones who put on the too tough to care persona, the ones who teachers kick out of their classes daily, who write off or don't want anything to do with because of their behaviors. These are the kids that need our love the most. These are the kids that we get the privilege of working with every day at the ARC. The kids that live in poverty and have trauma-filled lives and they don't even realize it. We get the honor of serving them with love, mat ball, the STEM room, the ARC, pulled pork sandwiches, popcorn, and slushies. The whole reason the CRC exists is for that one child that walks through these doors and chooses to be here and be loved over being on the streets. Now, my dad is sort of an anomaly when it comes to most of the stories that we hear here. My dad went on to get a good job with a company that he's actually getting ready to retire from after 30 years of service. He's been married to my mom for over 40 years. And he's a great man. He's loved and cared for his family very deeply. Sorry. He's always worked hard to make sure that my sister and I never had to live or know the hardships of where he grew up. We don't see this very often here. Sadly, we see families continue to live in generational poverty, turning to drugs or alcohol to cope, and not believing that their lives are worth living. And we have an opportunity here with this campus and building to change that. We have the opportunity to show the love of Christ to those who most desperately need to hear the gospel. So when I say that I do not take this position as the new executive director lightly, I mean it with my whole heart. God has used my life and a love for protecting and caring for children from hard places as a roadmap to bring me here today. As we go into this new chapter of the Children's Rescue Center, we do so with humble serving hearts. And I'm confident to say that with John by my side, being on the board and taking over the finances of the CRC, and our children's hearts to want to serve others, and the amazing board that we've been blessed to work with, we will do everything in our power to love and care for this organization well. Thank you for listening, and thanks for being here tonight.